And it's a privilege and it's an honor to have you all here today. Thank you for joining me on this February 8th, 2021 day. My name is Gail Zintek, and I'm here to share some inspiring possibilities on unlocking your best life. I'm going to share my experience, my health and fitness transformation journey that's been going on really for the past 3 years. But here's what I want to impart to you today. Like I sat down and I said, what do I want to convey to those who are listening to this presentation? I want to convey hope. I want to convey that there's hope. There's always hope. We are all angels of hope. Happiness. Happiness starts. It's an inside job. Our vision. Do you have a vision? Do you have a purpose? Abundance, possibilities, flow and ease. Do you want life? Would it be grand if life was just flow and ease for you? Blissful dissatisfaction. I don't know if you know what that term means, but it really simply means that taking your happy self, like being okay with where you are. Like I'm okay right now with where I'm at, but I'm a little bit blissfully dissatisfied because I know there's more for me. I want to go and I want to capture more in my life. I want to live my best life, just like you want to live your best life. Authenticity, attraction. Attraction is one for me. Be yourself, be you, attract who you are, living your best life. And I want you to know that your greatest victories are ahead of you. So my greatest victories are ahead of me. I've had a really awesome last 12 months, and I'm going to share that with you along with my journey. So I believe you're here today because you want more. You see something in me that sparks an interest or a desire. And here's what I believe. I believe if you see something in me that you want, it's because it's already in you. See, I believe that we're a reflection of one another. And if what you see in me is a reflection already of what's in you. And I believe that's what draws us together. So as I tell parts of my story, some will resonate more than others. I'm excited to share some principles, and I want you to write this formula down. Okay. Is this backwards? Someone type in the comments. Is this right way or is it backwards? Because I have no idea. I don't know if you can read that. It says live free. Right way? Perfect. All right. So write this down. R times C squared plus T is greater than S. And we're going to go over that today because that is the combination to unlocking your life. Responsibility, commitment, consistency, time, and success. And we'll talk about that. I'm going to focus on 3 areas today: health, wealth, and relationships. And here's why. Because you know what? I've had wealth. My husband and I have created wealth over the past decade, and we've had poor health. And what is wealth without having your health to enjoy it with, right? And we all benefit from having better relationships in our life. So let's talk about poor health. We live in a world where there's poor health. It's poor nutrition. It's a sedentary lifestyle. And it comes down to simply that you have not made yourself a priority. We as humans need to make ourselves a priority so that we can have better health. Strained relationships. We live in a world with strained relationships. How's your relationships been over the past 12 months? When COVID hit, pandemic fear came in. We had an election, strong opinions. And I'm not here to debate who's wrong, who's right, because you know what? We all live our own truth. And our own truth comes from, the things that we listen to, the people we listen to, the people we hang around. And if you are needing more in your life, or you're not satisfied with the temperature of your lifestyle right now, maybe you just need to find better relationships, right? Perhaps we've had loss of connection. I can remember back when in March of 2020, it was, I think March 17th is when the pandemic really hit. My mother-in-law passed away on March 8th. God love Frances Zintek. She passed away March 8th. we had her funeral the next weekend, and the pandemic was just really starting to hit. And they were kind of mandating of who we could and could not have at the memorial service. And I know if you lost a loved one in the past year, you understand that fully. And it wasn't fun. It was really disappointing, to be honest. But it was the 17th of the month when the shutdown came. Stay at home initiative. Don't see your families. Don't go anywhere. And I can remember at the same time, it was on April 5th, my stepmom was diagnosed she was in hospice care, and my husband and I chose to load up the truck, and we made the cross-country trip to Las Vegas to be with her as she transitioned. I remember going over to my daughter's house, and we stepped in the back door. Wow, this makes me emotional thinking about it. We stepped in the back door of her house, and my granddaughter, Kendall, came running. Whew. I've been practicing this. I did not expect this. This emotion. But I can remember, this is the strained relationships. Kendall came running towards me, and she had to stop 3-4 feet away from me. And we couldn't hug because we were told we couldn't hug. And that was typical of what was going on, right? We all went through that. Whew. Thanks for your comments. I'm really fine, but man, talk about strained relationships, right? Collapsing businesses. My daughter's expanded. Here's the difference. Many people, their businesses have collapsed over the last year. One, because they have an unclear vision. Two, because they had an inability to pivot when the pandemic hit or to diversify. And we're going to talk about that today, how important it is for us to have some diversification in our lives and our businesses. But first, I'm going to talk about my transformation and my health journey and my health and fitness journey over the past 3 years. And it happened because I paused and I asked myself a powerful question. And if you want to have more results in your life, ask yourself better questions and then answer those questions for you. So here's the question I asked myself: Gail, who do you desire to be? How do you want to live out the rest of your life? I was 57 years of age at the time. I was living in, here's my reality. I'd just been nominated Realtor of the Year in 2016. It was December 2016. And I got my Realtor of the Year pin, and all rights should have felt really accomplished and victorious, right? But inside I was hurting. I was inflamed. I didn't have any energy. I had disappointment and self-loathing for myself because of how I was living my life, my current situations. You see, my behavior was a direct reflection of the identity I had created for myself. Let me say that again. My behaviors were a direct reflection of of the identity I had created for myself. I was living a sedentary lifestyle. I remember when I got my new watch, and I'd forgotten I'd had a Fitbit before. But when I activated this one, it brought up the old one, and the old one, it said your average daily steps back in, I think, February were 800. Average daily steps was 800 steps. To put some perspective on that, I live in a 740 square foot home, and on an average basis, even walk without even going outside because it's winter and cold, I get 5,000 to 7,000 steps in. We'll talk about that too. My nutrition was less than poor. I was addicted to sugar and processed foods. Steve and I ate out 4 to 5 times a week, and I drank less than 20 ounces of water. Excuse me, I have to get a tissue. I had not anticipated needing tissue nearby. Okay. All right. So eating out causes more inflammation, right? Drinking less water, dehydration, lack of energy. I sat on the couch a lot. I was still successful, don't get me wrong. In business, I was a success, but in my body, I was hurting and I needed help. So I knew what I needed to do. Here's a question I have for you. What are you currently doing right now, or what are you not doing right now that you know you should be doing? Like, I knew I should be drinking water. I knew I should be eating right, but I was choosing, my behaviors were setting up my identity or my results, my environment, right? So I knew what I needed to do, but I wasn't doing it. So here's what happened. I attended, my husband, we've belonged to this BNI chapter, Leading Edge, since 2006. He's a realtor. And every now and then I'd sub in that group. And so I would sub it. I'd hear Dr. Stephen Osterhout talk about his practice, Vitality Health. And he has a weight loss clinic within his practice. And so I was ready. I knew I was ready. I walked in, I remember it was January. It was like the first week of January, because we all do that, right? We all walk in January. I'm going to start something new. But here's the difference. I walked in there. It was $1,500. I plopped down my credit card. Chris was my counselor. And I said, what do I need to do? I needed accountability. She goes, Gail, you don't look like you're really excited to be here. I said, Chris, I hurt. My body hurts. I'm inflamed. I don't feel good. As a matter of fact, here's a picture. This is a picture of me the day I walked into Vitality Health. We had to take pictures. She's like, you don't look very happy. I wasn't very happy. I wasn't happy at all. I wasn't happy at all. And wow, that was January 1st, 2018. My starting weight, 189 pounds. And I went on the lifestyle plan. So I started to eliminate. I had to go on a detox, right? Y'all hear that, but I had to detox from the sugars. I had to detox from the dairy, from the caffeine, from the grains. I really just was on when you think about processed food, I didn't have any of that. It was like the whole fruits and vegetables, lean protein. And I was successful. 3 months in, 189 down to 159 pounds. So that was what this was. Well, this was 20-pound loss. So that was me and my 20-pound loss. Okay. From January 1st to March 1st of 2018, lost 13 and a half inches. My goal weight was 144. I've had a goal weight of 144 pounds, gosh, for 12 years. And so that was the start of it. I got off the plan probably mid-summer of 2018. And guess what happened? Went through the summer, went through the fall, holidays rolling in, and guess what's happening now? Yep, starting to put weight back on. Isn't that the yo-yo? It's the weight loss game. I was playing the weight loss game in 2018. And it wasn't a sustainable change for me, because I went right back to the habits I had before. Not drinking water, eating more processed foods and sugar, eating out. And I caught myself, because you see, it's hard to be one place. And then as you see yourself slipping back, I knew what it took me to release that 30 pounds. And I didn't want to go back up to that 190-pound girl. I know how she felt. She was inflamed. She was sad. She deserved to live a better life. And I was determined. Okay. So then I watched my friend Wendy. Wendy Braden is a dear friend of mine. She lives out in Colorado. And I watched Wendy become a melting popsicle. So she was north of 200 pounds and she lost 40, 50 pounds. And I'm like, Wendy, what are you doing? I need some help. Friend, is it good that we ask for help sometimes? Yes, it's great to ask for help because we can't do this alone. We can't do it. We're responsible. The R in our equation, we have to be responsible, accountable, and take ownership. But we rely on other people. And so I was relying on Wendy to give me counsel, and she was relying on me to kind of pick my brain in the financial aspects because she wanted the temperature in her life, the thermostat in her life and finances to go up. I wanted my thermostat in my life of health and wellness in my body to go up. So here's what Coach Steve, I'll talk about him a lot today, tells us in the sprint group I'm in. It's like, if you want your thermostat to rise to the next level, it's your environment that you place yourself in. So Wendy and I started Monday mornings, food and finance. She'd coach me in food and nutrition, and I'd coach her in some financial aspects of things. And we did this for about 6 months. And then she introduced a book to me. She says, okay, Gail, it's time to get serious. And so this book, it starts with food, is a book that's the Whole30 plan. So if you're familiar with Whole30, it's no dairy, no sugar, no grains, no legumes, and no alcohol. And I was ready because I wanted to make that change. But she said I had to make a declaration. I had to sit down and write up my own manifesto, my own thoughts. And so I did. And I'm going to read it to you today because this was written July 1st of 2019. And it's my little manifesto that I wrote up. It's titled Decide, Detox, Design, and Declare. So it says, I am thankful for the inspiration of friends who choose to live a healthy life, especially grateful for Wendy B for being an example and caring for me. Today, I decide to make choices that serve my vision of health. Today, I detox my body. Today, I design what my life looks like 59 onward. Today, I declare exceptional health. Today marks the first day of the rest of my life. July 1st, 2019. Transparency. Saying good riddance to the foods that don't serve me makes me nervous. Can I do it? As I write this, tears are forming in my eyes. My emotions are high. Eating correctly seems to go against everything this world represents. Sometimes I feel alone. My eyes are open for a purpose. I am a warrior. I am strong and focused on making a difference, first with myself. My health is my greatest wealth. My mind is my body's guard. I keep my mind sharp and on guard at every moment. My thoughts protect me. My willpower is strong and impenetrable. My vision of health serves me. My slender body is filled with energy. I am flexible, vibrant, and happy. My endurance is strong. I enjoy long walks on the beach, hiking mountain trails, and playing with friends and family. I am living my purpose. My mind has clarity. I inspire possibility. Now, I know I got chill bumps reading that. You know what? I wasn't all those things on July 1st, 2019, but I had a vision of health. I had a vision of where I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, how I wanted to feel, hiking those mountain trails with friends, taking long walks on the beach without getting winded, right? Playing with family and friends. I have 9 grandchildren. I want to play with my 9 grandchildren. I want to have fun and do things. Kendall Grace, if you see me with Kendall Grace, she's my little inspiration. That girl is flexible. She's bendy. She can do anything she puts her mind to. And she's weightlessness. And that's my word for 2021 is weightlessness. Weightless in limiting beliefs, weightless in fear, weightless in negative thoughts, weightless in my core strength, weightless in flexibility and endurance. I see and feel today weightlessness more than I ever have before in my life. And she's my little inspiration. So, so that was my declaration. That put me on the next step of feeling nutritionally sound, getting back to eating right, making great decisions. My behavior is now dictating my identity and my belief in myself and my environment, the results of who I wanted to be. I still wasn't doing any movement. I thought I could do it all through nutrition. And then on October 1st, I was in my send out cards back office, and I saw a name pop in there that was familiar to me. It was Steve Trezek. And Steve had joined Send Out Cards through a friend of a friend. And I reached out to him and I said, hello. I said, hey, I just want to let you know I'm your upline and Send Out Cards. And if you need anything, just feel free to reach out. That was October 1st, 2019. See, here's a succession of things. And so and Steve, I had met Steve in another real estate group. So, I was familiar with him, but I knew he wasn't a realtor, but he was a fitness coach, that he was strong and he just, his energy. So he video messaged me back. And immediately I was drawn into his energy and his enthusiasm. And so it was easy to kind of hang around him a little bit more. It was then, let's see, in January of 2020, he invited me to join his group, Everybody Deserves to Feel Fantastic. I attended a couple of his nutritional sessions. And then I just started to get to know who he was. And then in February of 2020, Wendy and I had planned a women's retreat. Oh my gosh, you guys, this retreat. It was in Isle of Palm, South Carolina. It was called the Whole Vision Retreat. Whole Vision, Whole 30, Whole Life, Whole You. And it was at this vision retreat that we created vision boards. There was about 18 women. We cooked, we shopped, we cooked Whole 30. The food was delicious. We sat out, we walked on the beach in South Carolina. It was this mansion, 10 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms. Like we were going to go back again this year, but we have to kind of hold out because of COVID taking over. So, but we will have another vision retreat. But here's the thing, all of this glorious amazingness of this retreat. And it was on the final day and we were kind of wrapping some things up. And here's what I said. I remember saying, because Wendy had given a great presentation on self-love and, loving the skin you're in, loving your body. And I'd gone through this transformation, but I still was feeling really dissatisfied or disillusioned with body image. And so I bring that up not to dwell on it, but just to know that it was in my thoughts, it was in my feelings. And so I really believe that was drawing me to this next step in my life, which included movement. So March 23rd, 2020, okay, pandemic hit, right? And Coach Steve was over in Everybody Deserves to Feel Fantastic group saying, hey, gyms are closed, but that's no reason to sit still. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to get on Zoom and we're going to move our bodies to the best of our abilities for 30 minutes. And so Monday, March 23rd, I showed up right in this very spot I'm standing right now. And I can still visualize that girl that showed up. I didn't know exercises. I thought I might have known 5. And as they started calling things out, I go, oh yeah, I know that. Oh, okay, jumping jacks. Okay, I can do jumping jacks, sit-ups, crunches, crab walks, push-ups, planks. You know, there was so many things that I learned, squats, lunges. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff because I wasn't a girl who exercised. And so March 23rd, Monday, it was hard. I came back Tuesday, came back Wednesday, I came back all week. He says, okay, let's do it next week. Cause you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, we thought maybe a couple weeks, 3 weeks. But the reality was it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. Even when I was out in California and Las Vegas, I would get up and I would join in the workouts. I think there might've been 1 or 2 that I missed the whole time. And then my daughter and I started doing them on Saturdays because we were away from each other, and it was a way for us to kind of get on Zoom and do workouts together. And then after about, I don't know, 30 weeks, Steve wasn't able to be on them anymore. And so he asked, you know, several of us, myself included, to maybe run the 1 o'clock sessions that we met every day, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And so I started doing it. Nate, Prerna, Rosemary, we all would lead because Steve wasn't able to do it anymore. It's been going on since March 23rd of 2020. It's also been implemented. So my friend Wendy, she says, Gail, would you get up in the morning a couple days a week and work out with me? That was back in September. We've been going Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern time, since last September. So there's a 1 o'clock Eastern time, Monday through Friday. We do them Saturdays at 9 a.m. We do them Sundays at 11 a.m. We do them every morning. Did I say 7 a.m.? Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. So here's the thing. It became a habit for me. It's become a habit for me. It's become something that I will continue to do for the rest of my life. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that now because, see, in April of last year, Coach Steve Trzak created what's called the Promise Keeper community. And it's the 90-day sprint. And I'm like, I remember my friend Josh saying to me, Gail, what do you think? Are you going to join the 90-day sprint? I'm like, yeah, I really like Steve. And we both said, we really like Steve. We like his energy. We enjoy his enthusiasm. We didn't know what we were going to learn by being in proximity to Steve. But it's changed our lives. It's changed the lives of so many people. I became aware of something going through the 90-day sprint. Here's what I became aware of. I became aware of the fact that I lacked personal integrity. Now, I don't want you to get hung up on that, but because I have integrity. I have integrity for everybody in my life, for my grandchildren, for my children, for my husband, for my clients. But I would lack integrity. That's what got me in trouble in the first place, because I didn't do what I said I was going to do when I said I was going to do it, even when nobody was watching, right? I'd eat that sleeve of cookies in the drawer. I'd go take the handful of chips. And, you know, like, I was not, that's why I started to put the weight back on, because my personal integrity, I wasn't doing what I said I was going to do for myself. I was not keeping the promises to myself. And that was the big catalyst. So, I began to implement the small commitments every day. So that's the premise of the Promise Keeper, of the 90-day sprint. The premise of that is to pick 2 or 3 small commitments that you can do every day without fail, making that promise to yourself. And we get to check it off on the scoreboard, because I'm a little competitive and I want to keep the promises to myself. Yes, because I've seen the value and the significance in that. So here was my first 3 commitments. Drink 96 ounces of water a day. And it didn't start out with that because, see, I wasn't drinking 32. So Steve would say, can you do 64? Yep. and soon it went 64 to 96 to 128. And I averaged today about 100 ounces of water a day. Move my body for 30 minutes a day. See, I started with You Call It, so I knew that I could probably keep that commitment to myself. But today, as I'm standing here before you right now, I am X to the 296 power. That means that I have moved this body for at least 60 minutes every day for 296 days in a row. And I don't have any intention of stopping. I'm sure there will be some day when I won't do it, maybe, I don't know. But I know that even if I'm sick, it's going to be such an ingrained habit. I'm going to be doing arm circles or something. If I'm laying in bed, I'm going to be doing something that triggers and engages this body of mine, because I didn't exercise for the last 4 decades. Okay. I got some time to make up. Consuming less than 44 grams of natural sugar. I gained awareness on nutrition hanging around Steve. I thought I knew it from the program I went through, but the reality is I didn't really know that much about nutrition. I was just eating what was written down on the paper. And now I'm starting to understand. I have awareness around. I told Steve I wasn't going to eat any sugar. That was my not to do. I'm not going to eat any sugar. He's like, okay, well, how much sugar you eat? I said, Steve, I don't eat sugar. I read labels. If it has sugar in it, I don't buy it. And he says, well, do you eat fruit? I go, yeah, I love fruit. He says, okay, so just kind of keep track of the fruit that you eat and we'll see what the sugar content is. And I was floored. Google became my friend. Hey, Google, how many grams of sugar in an apple? Hey, Google, how many grams of sugar in a banana? Hey, Google, how much grams of sugar in a serving of watermelon? And I began to realize that I was still eating a lot of sugar. And but it was natural sugar, but I needed to balance it out with other things, you know, maybe a little more protein. I learned about protein. I've learned about, you know, good fats that are good, that are really good for my body. See, I started to nourish my roots so that the fruit on the tree had begun to blossom. Think about this. Here's my results. I'm going to share with you my results. The last 10 months of being a Promise Keeper, I could go on for hours. There are so many golden nuggets that I've learned. Thank you, Josh Gettig, for saying, hey, are you going to join Steve's 90-day sprint? Well, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I will never leave Steve's 90-day sprint, just so you know. Being around Steve Trzek has changed my life in such a positive way. First of all, with the mindset, the questions I ask and answer myself, he has been a gem for me. You want results. So here's my results. I mentioned that Wendy was a popsicle, melting popsicle. I'm a visual person. I said, Wendy, will you make me a melting popsicle? So she created this for me. On March 1st, I was 156.4 pounds. And on October 1st, I was 131.4 pounds. 23 pounds released from my body. I was a melting popsicle. I ended up on the floor. Now, I'm not currently at 131, but here's what I believe. I believe my body will rest somewhere between 128 and 132. Now, remember when I said my goal weight was 144 pounds, and I've had that goal for 12 years? And I smashed that goal. I smashed it. Here's some more results. What gets measured gets improved. So I wrote this out. Steve provided this. My first measurements were on May 13th of 2020. 178 days later, on October 31st, 2020, I was down 21 pounds. My blood pressure had gone from 127 over 63 to 104 over 57. My resting heart rate went from 90 to 60. And I released 22.5 inches from my frame. in 178 days. I see we underestimate what we can do in a short period of time when we're setting our goals. I went from a size 12 to a size 4-6. That was an emotional thing for me. I remember going into Costco. It's still a pandemic. We can't go try on clothes, but my clothes were all falling off of me. And I walked over to a table at Costco and I picked up a pair of size 8-10 jeans. And I looked at them. I go, yeah, I don't know, might be a little big. I picked up the size 6s and I said, I don't think these are going to fit me, but I'm just going to buy them, can't try them on. And I remember going to my office, and I went into there and I tried on these size 6 jeans and they fit me, and I started to cry. Because see, my body had gone through a transformation faster than my mind had gone through a transformation. And it was an emotional moment for me, big time emotional moment. And I'm getting better. It's still there. It's still there. I still have to catch up my brain sometimes to the transformation that I'm feeling within myself. And it comes down to that combination I shared with you. Let's talk about that for just a second. R times C squared plus T is greater than success. The R stands for responsibility and ownership. No matter if it's finance, no matter if it's fitness, no matter if it's relationships, we have to take ownership and responsibility for who we are within those parameters. Commitment. I made a commitment to myself. Made a commitment to myself in business. I made a commitment to myself in my relationships. I made a commitment to myself in health and physical to keep promises to myself. It's a non-negotiable. And here's the thing. You have to think about it. We all know the levels of consciousness. Level 3 is think about it, do it. Commitment is wrapped around thinking about it and doing it. Thinking about it and doing it. My friend Edie sent me this card. I got this in the mail, and it says, Gail, if you can do it, I can do it too. And then her message on the back says, Gail, thank you so much for your inspiration. I have sent this card to myself and will hang it on my bathroom mirror. Thank you. I keep this in my bathroom. But here's what I want to read to you. There's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in doing something, you do it only when it's convenient. When you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. And that's the level 3. No excuses. I am committed to the results I'm going to create in my own life. Consistency and time. Consistency, doing it over and over, trusting the process. Now, when I showed up for You Call It and did 30-minute body weight workout, it was hard. I trusted the process. I can remember joining the sprint, eating right, keeping promises to myself, drinking my water, trusting the process, consistently, did it consistently. Remember, X to the 296 power, I've done it consistently over time, which is level 4. It's a habit. I don't have to think about it. I just do it. And it takes time on task over time. Trust the process. Success, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Progressive realization of like if you take the responsibility, you have the commitment, you have the consistency over time, do you even doubt that you're going to have success? See, your success is always chasing you. That's why the R times C squared plus T is always greater than the success. The success is the attraction. You are going to attract the success to you by doing the behaviors of keeping the promises to yourself. It's made us, in implementing this is the promise keeper mentality, the keeping the promises to myself has helped me to create this person that I am today. And here's what, I've made myself a priority. Make yourself a priority. You deserve to be a priority to yourself. Make yourself a priority. Keep promises. Find 2 or 3 commitments, small commitments that you can make, and keep them to yourself. I've taken my daily meds. Oh, here's another card. My meds: meditation, mindfulness. What do you take for meds? I'm 60 years young. I'll be 61 on April 4th. And the only meds I take are these: meditation and mindfulness, exercise daily, do something every day. I don't care what it is, just do something every day. 10 minutes, 5 minutes. If you're not doing anything, at least do 5, maybe 10, 15, 30 minutes, 2% of your day. 2%, my number's 4, so I do 60 minutes, 4% of my day. Diet, be aware of what you're putting in your mouth. Be aware of what you're eating. Sleep, be well rested. You know, that's different for everybody. I thrive on 7 hours. I go to bed at 10, I get up at 5 every day. Relationships, RX, relationships, X factor. Don't zero out. Do it consistently every day. Over time, you'll have the results that you need. I've identified my 7 core values: kindness and love. My friend Kevin Hoover said, Gail, identify 7 core values that are true to you: kindness and love, commitment, consistency, inspiration, relationships and attraction, wealth and abundance, and inspiration. Kindness, love, commitment, consistency, inspiration, relationships and attraction, wealth and abundance. I decided that I wanted to become, I decided who I wanted to become, and I took immediate action. Okay, so now we're going to transition over into the wealth and relationship portion. I'm going to just share my journey because, see, now that I have a healthy me, I'm excited about the wealthy me, us, my husband and I, and the rest of the life that we get to live together. You know, 2020 was by far the most profitable year for Steve and myself. It didn't happen overnight. It took 42 years in the making. It didn't come from one source. It came from 8 sources. Now, I'm speaking to you about possibilities today. Possibilities in creating wealth for yourself. I want you to open up your mind and I want you to dream a little bit about what this can mean to you. And I'm going to share with you what we've done. What it might not be what you'll do, but maybe it'll inspire you to find something else that you can do that feeds that passion part of you. Okay? So we had real estate sales. This is 2020. Real estate sales, send out cards, coaching, investments, EXP rev share and stocks, mentoring, and inheritance. Okay. Here's a question for you. What if you had enough income coming into your household that would cover your expenses from let's just say 2 or 3 different sources? Would that help you to breathe easier? Would it help you to sleep well at night? Would it help you to relax and enjoy the days? Okay, I'm going to take you back. This is way back. We're going way back to 1978. When I married Steve Zintek on April 15th, 1978, I had just turned 18 11 days previously. I was a senior in high school. I was 4 months pregnant, and with the first of our 3 children that would come in 3 years. So by the time I was 21 years of age, I had 3 babies. And those years we worked hard. You know, life is, let's look at this for a second. Life is hard no matter what. You know, staying married is hard. Getting a divorce is hard. Being unhealthy is hard. Getting fit is hard. You got to choose your hard. So Back in the day, we worked. We knew how to work. We were young. Youth was on our side. Steve went to work every day. He is the most, when integrity is written in the dictionary, it's a definition of my husband, Steve, his whole life, integrity. But here's what I did. I'd pack him, get up and I'd pack him bologna or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day. I'd put a little bag of chips. I'd put an apple in there, and I would put 8 cream-filled cookies, the little sandwich cookies like an Oreo, only we couldn't afford Oreos, so we'd always buy the off-brands. But he loved to dunk them in his coffee, of which that I would fill his thermos up every morning, pack his lunchbox. And when I wrote this out yesterday and I was thinking about this, it just brought back such perspective and a sense of satisfaction of what living life each day. See, where you are at right now, you are perfect in this moment because you've created this moment. But we don't have to stay in this moment. We can move forward. We can be blissfully dissatisfied. So Steve worked hard all those years, and I raised children in our home for 25 years. We worked paycheck to paycheck. How many of you out there can resonate with working paycheck to paycheck? All right, we did it for most of our lives. It's only been in the last probably 8 to 10 years that we've had some relief, and I'm going to share that relief with you. But it's being diligent, it's being committed, it's being consistent, and it takes time on task over time. We were paycheck to paycheck. The only vacations we took back then is when we would go visit my parents. They lived in St. Louis, and we'd drive the kids to St. Louis, and we'd swim in the clubhouse pool, and mom and dad would take us to Six Flags. They'd take us to Anheuser-Busch. They'd take us to the Cardinals baseball games. We were living high on the hog when we went to visit mom and dad, right? In 1985, we bought our first home. We'd been married for 7 years, rented, had 3 kids, grown up, starting school age. We paid $34,000 for our first home, and my parents gifted us $6,000 for the down payment to make it happen. For 25 years, I watched children in our home. Steve went to work every day. And in 2004, I turned 44. 04, 04, 04. I turned 44. And that's the year I became a realtor. And the number 44 is significant to me now. Every time I see 444, 444, it's my number. 4% of my day, 60 minutes a day, I'm going to dedicate to this body to work and move in this body. So I invested time, energy, my talents over the 2 years. I was a successful real estate agent, so much so that my husband was able to quit his job 2 years later, and we went into business together, and we were successful. That was, back 2006, 7. Oh, then 2008 hit. Guess what? Recession time. Guess what? We didn't save a ton of money. Guess what? We had to let a 4-unit go into foreclosure and go back to the bank because we couldn't afford it. Guess what? We had 2 months worth of payments left in our bank account for our house payment. And I was trying to remember what was a turnaround, but here's what I said. I thought, you know what? If we have to go back into credit card debt, we'll have to go back into credit card debt. Did I want that? No, I wasn't willing to really want to be there, but I just knew that that was an option. It was a struggle. 2007, we were introduced to send out cards. Now, we saw this as a way to connect with our clients, to stay in touch. As entrepreneurs, we also saw that there was a financial benefit for that, to build residual income. So we joined as affiliates back in 2007, 2012. So 2008, the recession hit. Between 2008 and 2011, we focused in on our relationships, connecting through social media, connecting, sending cards, calling, texting, you name it. We focused in on our relationships. And by 2012, we had 100% referral business in real estate. And we opened up our own company, Network Team Homes Realty, which was awesome. A couple years in, we had other agents that were attracted to that, wanted to come and talk to us about joining Network Team Homes. So we had about 4 or 5 agents that were working not for us, but under our license. 2012, so 2014, here, I want you to pay attention to this. I was 54 years of age. Steve was 57. We started our financial saving journey. We hired a financial advisor at 54 and 57. So it's not too late for you. Those of you who are listening, if you're older than that, it's not too late to start. We started with just a little bit. It was hard. Taking that little bit of money, paying ourselves, paying us, right? Because see, I have to jump to 2016 because in 2014, even though we hired a financial advisor, we still weren't being physically and financially responsible for paying our taxes on time. We always paid them on time, but it was October of the year after they were due. And so we were always playing catch up. So I paid in October taxes from last year. I haven't paid any for this year yet. So next year, October, I'm going to pay the previous year. And that was just a cycle that did not serve us. Are you paying your taxes on time? Please pay your taxes on time. Please get that in the books. Please have a P&L. So we hired Brooks. 2016, our multiple streams of income were finally starting to kind of diversify and take hold. We had real estate sales, we had send out cards, we had the agents in our office, and we had made an investment in 2016 that paid out in 2020. So see, what you do today is going to affect your future. So think wisely, choose wisely. We chose to make an investment in 2016 that paid big dividends in 2020. 2018, Referrals for a Living was born. I became a coach. I coach referrals for a living. 2018, we also joined eXp Realty because we were looking 3 to 5 years in the future. We wanted to be traveling in our motorhome 3 to 5 years in the future. We didn't have a motorhome in 2018. But we knew we wanted to have one. And so we didn't want to be stuck back in our office and managing things. So we had EXP, our investments, our retirement. We were saving money each month. We were paying ourselves first, just like paying the house payment into our retirement fund. So let's just check out, and I'm kind of winding down a little bit. Karen, I see you raise your hand, and I'll get at the end. I'll get to some questions. 2020. I remember I said it was our best physical, and our best physical year of our lives. Real estate exceeded 6 figures. Our send out cards income sustained us through COVID. When we were traveling, we went on the road trip out west and we were gone for 4 weeks because we couldn't do real estate. And we were with my stepmom who was transitioning. We were able to have that. EXP, RevShare, mentoring, and stocks, all of those combined were significant for us in 2020. My coaching income was significant. Our investment paid out, and I had a little bit of an inheritance when my stepmom passed away. All that together, see, remember, it's not just 1 or 2 sources. We had 8 sources of income that were working for us in 2020. We bought and paid for a new motorhome on September 2nd. We bought a new Jeep Grand Cherokee just last December so we can tow behind our motorhome. We paid off our pontoon boat 3.5 years early. We made that cross-country trip in the height of the pandemic to be with my stepmom, Babette, as she transitioned. We spent 2 weeks in California with my mom. I reclaimed my health. I remember walking the golf course with my husband, Steve, back last April at my mom's house. And I said, weightlessness. He's like, huh? I said, that's what I want in life. I want weightlessness. I want to be like Kendall. I want to be able to just hold my frame to be strong and lean and sturdy and flexible and have endurance. That's what I want. I want weightlessness. And I'm fine. I didn't even know what that really was until now. So what was it? About 9 months later, after that word came into my brain, I'm finally starting to understand what it really means. 2020 for many people, the year of the pandemic, they just choose to forget it, right? I will always remember this year as one of my favorite years, despite the loss of my mother-in-law, despite the loss of my stepmom. I regained myself. I found who I was and who I am meant to be in 2020, because I spent a lot of time with myself and I put a lot of energy into what I wanted to do. In 2020, all those years leading up to that, our net worth has become something that we can smile about. My friend, I mentioned Coach Kevin Hoover earlier. He has a group called 6-Figure Business, 7-Figure Life. I feel like Steve and I are living, we're not making 7 figures, but we're living a 7-figure life. We have the freedom to go and do what we want to do with the people we want to do it with. I want to leave you with some questions. One, I've already asked you, do you pay your taxes on time? If you don't, figure out how to do that. It'll allow you to breathe easier. Do you have profit and loss statements? We have 4. We hired a bookkeeper 3 years ago because we have 4 LLCs that I just like to keep them all separate. Have you invested in a financial planner? Where do you desire to be in the next 3 years, the next 5 years? Not only in your financial field, but most importantly in your health. Where do you want to be in your health? My life has transitioned in the last 10 months. It can happen quickly. Transformation can happen quickly. It depends on how much time, effort, and energy you put into it. But I'm here as an example that it can happen very quickly. There's a combination to success. I know if I said, tell me what it is, you'd be like shouting out, R times C squared plus T is greater than S. To elevate your health and your financial identity or thermostat, you must decide on who you want to become. Remember at the beginning, I said, I asked myself a powerful question, Gail, who do you want to become? You have to decide who you want to become. Your beliefs will rise as you develop your skills, your knowledge, and your competency. See, when I became a realtor, I didn't have the skills, so I learned how to be a realtor. When I went on this health journey, I didn't know about food and nutrition. I got skills and competency. Your knowledge will change your behaviors. My knowledge about food, my knowledge about business, it changed my behaviors, which are my reactions, my actions, and my performance. How you react to things, how you take action, and how you perform will create the environment that you want to live in. So where you live right now in this physical world, where I'm living, where I'm standing right now in my physical world is a result of my identity, of who I choose to become. If you desire more in life, to hang around with people if you desire more in life, hang around with people who have a higher temperature than where you're currently at, so that you can learn, you can grow, you can understand. It'll help you to achieve more. most importantly, be you. I wore this, so I have to show you. This is one of my favorite tank tops. Believe in yourself. Be you. Be your authentic self. Attract who you are to you. You don't have to go out and win the world. You just have to be who you are and attract like people to you. If you want to have a conversation with me, I'm going to encourage you to go to my calendar and book a call. We can just talk, 30 minutes. We can talk 45 minutes. We can just talk about whatever you want to talk about. I love chatting with people. I like helping people win. I like inspiring possibilities. So I might ask you some questions on a call that will help take you to the next level where you desire to be. Ask me anything. Bookgayle.com. Book Gayle, Gayle, bookgayle.com. And let's have a conversation. If you're ready to make your health a priority, I'm going to encourage you to join the Promise Keeper community. It's $97 a month. It's Coach, and I don't get anything. I get the satisfaction of helping Coach Steve, who has helped me. I will do anything in life to help Coach Steve Trzek win, because he helps other humans win every day in life. Go check him out, coachtrzek.com. Coach, C-O-A-C-H, Trzek, T-R-E-Z-E-K, coachtrzek.com. Check him out. He will change your life. He will change your mood. He will change your energy, and he will change your life, guaranteed. So let's inspire some possibilities through a conversation. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for giving me an hour of your time. Wow, I didn't really know how long this was going to go when I started. But I got through all my notes. So I guess we're done. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. I see there's like different comments down here. I haven't really paid attention to them, but I really appreciate and acknowledge your being here today. And I'm thankful for you. So I'll go ahead and open it up. If you have any questions, feel free to type the questions in the chat, and we'll go from there. I'll open up the chat. Charlene, thank you for being here. You've inspired people through your hula hooping, right? I know one of my friends, Brenda, is in there. So I love the fact that we're there. So again, thank you for being here. And if I can do something for you, please book a call with me and let's share a conversation. And thanks for being here.